Welcome everybody, this is podcast 9 and today we actually have our first official guest on here today. So if you just want to introduce yourself.
Of course, my name's Elin and I am very honoured to be your first guest and I'm here today with Only Boys Allowed.
That's always good. I'm very excited to be part of this. So what is your main aim of Only Boys Allowed being set up? Because I understand, obviously I'm someone that's joined up to it as well. Yeah. So why has it been set up in Haverfordwewt?
Well, Only Boys Allowed was set up it's nearly 12 years ago now, and around 200 boys from across South and North Wales go to choirs and go to rehearsals every week, and we thought it was about time that West Wales had some choirs. And so we're establishing 3 new choirs now in cahirtity and Pembrokeshire. Haverfordwewt was a prime candidate really as the location for the Pembrokeshire one, being the county town, and thinking that it was a really nice central place for us to bring young boys like yourself who enjoy singing together, and to provide, well, hopefully what will be life-changing opportunities.
I know I've had a couple of questions come in from people that listen to the podcast and stuff, so if we go through them and then we can start talking about other stuff, we can get onto it, I think.
Brilliant, absolutely.
So the first question that I have been asked by a couple of people is, do you have to be able to sing?
Not at all.
That's always good.
So, no, it's always a bonus. But also I'd like to say that even people who think they can't sing, I bet you they can sing. And coming to Only Boys Allowed will prove that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I may be one of those people, but oh well. It's always good to step out and have that challenge, isn't it?
It's definitely about that, and the choir is about more than just the singing.
Yeah.
You know, it's about the social aspect, making new friends and mixing from all parts of Pembrokeshire, hopefully. And it's about those opportunities and sharing that with like-minded boys of the same age, and coming together just to have some fun.
Sounds good. And obviously I know on the leaflets that have been sent out, and I hope that most of Pembrokeshire have seen the leaflets, at least either on Facebook, or I know some of the schools had leaflets in it. I know Pembroke School had a couple of leaflets as well, YHT or Oscar High-Tude or whatever name it wants to be called. And so I know it says on the leaflets and stuff roughly what it is, but in case anyone hasn't, what are the age group for it?
Yep, so the age group is any boy of secondary school age, so from 11 to 18, 19. The main thing to know is, as you've just talked about, do you have to be able to sing? Well, there's no audition, so that's one thing, and it's completely free. So any boy of secondary school age is more than welcome to join.
Sounds good. The next question I have been asked, although it does relate to the first question, is any confidence in yourself for singing a key thing to have before you join, or is that something that you can turn up fully about to explode and being nervous?
No, this is absolutely it. So the whole ethos of Only Boys Allowed, and why it was established in the first place, was to really provide a platform for boys to gain confidence, to raise those aspirations, for them to just sort of to expand the horizons and give them that confidence that they can absolutely, hopefully in the end, feel they can stand on stage and sing with another 50-odd boys and not feel petrified. But feeling like that in the first rehearsal is absolutely, completely fine and expected.
That sounds good. And is obviously tonight's the first night, and it's the first rehearsal, first time ever in Pembrokeshire as well, doing it, and Is it something that people can just come and join and leave, or is it something that they have to start at a certain time and stuff to do?
No, anybody's welcome to join at any point. Because of health and safety and COVID as things are, it would be great if they could email first, just to register an interest. So it's a really easy email address, I think, to remember. So it's OBA, which is the acronym for Only Boys Allowed. So OBA West, because we're in the West, at thepodcastlifens.com. But absolutely anybody's welcome. If you find after a couple of rehearsals, actually it's not for me, then that's fine too. But I don't think you will.
Sounds good. And I'll definitely put that on the video as well and in the description to try and get more people to hopefully sign up and join, because we don't quite... Well, I don't know what the numbers are looking like for tonight at all, because I haven't really seen anyone else yet. But hopefully it'll be quite a good turnout, I'm hoping.
I'm hopeful it's going to be a good turnout, but I'm not going to say anything just in case.
So, a couple questions that I've come up with.
Yeah.
And as you you have already kind of gone to the whole thing of it as well, in what you said about giving like their dreams and stuff, good confidence and stuff. But with the youth committee in Pembrokeshire, they recently put out a video. I don't know whether you've seen the video they put out. Not everyone has. It's only just gone out online, but they did a video about climate change and stuff like that, and wanting their voice to be heard, and them wanting change for the future generations, as it's kind of like their planet and they're growing up in and stuff. And the main thing that they're also done with that is looking at children's rights and about the right to have a voice, the right to be heard and all of that. And is this something that you strongly believe in, the youth having a big voice, especially if it's about their future?
Without a doubt. I mean, it's fundamentally the core of what we're about. Boys of your age having that voice and having the confidence to know that they can share that in a really safe space, in a really safe environment with really encouraging and supportive people around them, because you are the future, and without that voice being heard, then there's no hope. So it is absolutely core to everything that Only Boys Allowed is about.
I like it. And then another question is more kind of like personal to you and your thinking with stuff, rather than necessarily looking at Only Boys Allowed, although that is great itself. Why are you doing what you're doing?
That is a very good question. So I grew up singing in choirs, and I was fortunate enough, I had singing lessons, and I've sang in choirs from such a young age, and most of my, I should say, if not all, of my closest friends to this day are the ones I made through singing. And it's such an important part of my life, and still was during my upbringing and still is now. And I just don't think you can beat that feeling of singing in a choir with your peers, first of all, who become then really good mates. It's an exhilarating feeling. And to then be able to provide that for young boys in Pembrokeshire and West Wales in general, well, it just makes me extremely happy, and I'm super excited now to see how Only West Boys Allowed conquer the world.
Very good, I like it. Quite good heart there for it as well, I think.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that's so important to me. And I'm, as I've said, I was fortunate enough to grow up singing, and then I trained as an actor, and I've been working in theatre and TV since then. But the feeling of singing, like I said, with your friends, your best mates, they do become your best mates, and there's nothing like it.
I quite like that summarisation of it. And then just going back to Only Boys Allowed as well, just to try and almost see what there is about it. If you join the choir, what would you be expecting to achieve? Where would you be expecting to go? Like, is there any exciting things that they can look forward to?
There's loads of exciting things to look forward to. So as well as everything that we've said, personal journeys for everybody, gaining in confidence and making those new friends and those new contacts. We've got some really exciting things to look forward to. So there's an album that's being recorded next year, and the West Choirs will definitely be part of that album, hopefully singing a couple of songs. So that's going to be a really exciting opportunity for the West Choir. And then there's a big, what would have been a 10th year anniversary concert had it happened in 2020, but we won't go there. I think for obvious reasons that we don't need to go into, it didn't happen. So it will now be a 12th year anniversary concert.
Nice.
But a celebration of Aloud as the charity. So all the choirs, the boys, there's Only Kids Allowed choirs, and we now have Aloud girls happening as well. So all those choirs are going to be coming together in a big concert in July, which will also be super exciting.
That sounds very exciting and fun to do. And you briefly touched on about the Only Girls part there. Is that something that will be coming down west at all in any time soon?
Well, we're hoping. So the Girls project is a pilot project at the moment, but of course, when we prove that it's a huge success and that people really need to get behind it, we're really hoping to expand on that. But what we have to remember is that Aloud is a charity, and so we do absolutely depend on funding. Because everything is free, of course, the girls it will be free just as the boys' choirs are. So we have to make sure that we've got that money. So, if there's anybody out there that wants to help us fund those things, then...
maybe a possible fundraiser, maybe something that we can look at then.
Absolutely.
And then I did think of another question as well, which is just, with this Going West project, obviously you've got the 3 different choirs that are in the West now, that have just been set up. Is there kind of like any like main funders with that, or is it all just a mix of bits and bobs?
Well, we've been really lucky to be project funded by the Arts Council, as well as the Bluestone Foundation, which we're extremely grateful for their kind donations and sort of project funding. And so we're hoping to really show them that this is a very worthy project to be funding, and we are very extremely grateful for their generous support.
That sounds very good, and very glad to have it for free as well, because I know definitely in my life I quite like free things to do rather than have to pay for it.
Absolutely, we try to be as accessible as possible.
That sounds good to me. And then I'm guessing as well, one main question that hasn't quite been asked, but with disabilities and stuff, are you fully accommodating to disabilities?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
Everybody that thinks, actually, I'd quite fancy to join in Only Boys Aloud, everybody's welcome, regardless of background or disabilities, abilities, everyone is welcome. We will accommodate anybody.
Sounds good to me.
As long as they're in the right age bracket, obviously.
Well, that could help, yeah. So I think that's all of the necessarily Only Boys Aloud questions that I have. Is there anything that you would like to really bring into this, or...
thank you for bringing this to people's attention in Pembrokeshire, first of all. I think you're a prime example of what we're about in Only Boys Aloud, is trying to inspire boys like yourself to really develop and know that your voice really does matter, and that it is being heard. So thank you for what you're doing. It's amazing, and just encourage anybody that's listening to join.
Sounds good, and there will definitely be details in the descriptions and stuff, and I'll post separate posts and stuff on the Facebook page and everything as well, just to get the word out there with, obviously, the very easily, hopefully remembered email address. So just one last bonus question, which for the listeners that are listening to this, they don't quite know I'm doing this yet. So every week now there will be a bonus question, and when I've got guests on the show, I'll be asking the guests, but when I don't have guests on the show, it will be posted on social medias, preferably the week before, and hopefully some of you may answer, so I can use your answers in the podcast. Normally it's linked to the podcast topic, but with a slight difference to it. So the bonus question today
I don't know whether to be excited or scared.
Well, it's up to you. It depends what thinking you have about this. I'm not saying it's exactly the simplest question ever, but the question today is, what is the weirdest thing about you, and are you proud of it?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I do have a strange allergy. I'm allergic to orange. Not the colour, but the food. Anything orange I can't eat or drink. And it's funny you asked me this today, because a colleague of mine today was trying to be really kind and got me lunch because she knew how busy I was, that I had to travel from Cardiff down west, and she went and got me lunch, and she does know me well. And she pulled everything out, and then some orange juice on the table, and I thought, is she having a laugh? And she forgot, fair play. But yeah, I'm allergic to orange, and it does make me very ill.
I guess that's not really something that...
But I'm not proud of, no.
No, I was going to say, I don't think that's really something that you can really be proud of, but it tells a different story, I guess, different experience in life to other people.
It's something strange about me, that's for sure.
Makes you unique, I think.
Yes, thank you.
Which I think we all are kind of unique in different ways.
Which should be celebrated, eh?
Yes. I think that's the podcast kind of summarised, I think, because we don't want to go on too long, otherwise I think everyone will be falling asleep. So,
trying to say I'm boring?
Well, I'll let the guests decide that one.